Hey y'all, welcome to Friday's Kitchen. Welcome back if you have been here before. In today's video, we are making this beautiful and delicious coconut lime cream cheese pound cake. If you're interested in seeing how I made it, stay tuned. Also, while you're here, please take a moment, look down below, press that red subscribe button, join our family, and come back for some more recipes. All right, y'all, let's get into these ingredients. Up first, we have 3 cups of cake flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 3 cups of granulated sugar, 6 eggs at room temperature. We'll be using 1/2 of the coconut cream jello pudding. We have an 8-ounce package of cream cheese at room temperature, 3 sticks of unsalted butter at room temperature. Here we have the zest of 2 limes. Here we have 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of coconut extract. We are going to start by preheating the oven to 300 degrees. So once the cake is baked and we are going to glaze it and decorate it, here are some things we will need. We have the coconut bar cookies. We have 3 limes. We will be juicing 2 of them and using 1 for the zest. We have our vanilla extract as well as powdered sugar. Not pictured, we will also be using some half and half. We are going to start by adding the 3 sticks of butter and the cream cheese to the mixer. Now we're going to turn the mixer on and cream the butter and the cream cheese together. Once we have those 2 items incorporated a bit, we're going to move on to adding the granulated sugar to the mixture, and you will see that coming up in just a few. All right, so here we are going in and adding the granulated sugar. For purposes of not having this video be too long, I'm going to speed this part up, but typically I let the mixer run for about 10 minutes once I've added the sugar to the mixture. While the mixer is running, we're going to go ahead and add the vanilla extract and continue to mix. So here the mixer has been running for about 10 minutes and you can see that the mixture has lightened in color. At this point, we're going to turn the mixer off, scrape down the sides of the bowl. At this point, we are going to begin to add the eggs one at a time. Now that we have all of the eggs added, we're going to turn the mixer off once again and scrape down the sides of the bowl before we move on to the next step. All right, so at this point, we are going to add the flour mixture to the bowl. So I'll turn the mixer back on really quickly just to give it a quick mix. We're going to turn it off, add the flour mixture to the bowl, and then we will start the mixer again at a slow speed. At this point, we are going to go ahead and add the lime zest to the batter. Mix that in well. So here we are turning the mixer off so we can scrape down the sides of the bowl one final time. So here we've turned the mixer back on and we're giving everything one final mix before we move on to putting our batter inside the cake pan. Here we have our bundt pan, and we are going to begin by spraying some Baker's Joy non-stick spray all over. So here I have the cake batter, and I am just going to go in and place the batter inside the cake pan. I will make sure to spread it as evenly as possible. Here I am taking the spatula, going across the top and just smoothing the cake out. Once I have finished doing that, I'm going to tap the pan against the counter a few times to help release any air that may be trapped inside. And then we're going to place the cake into a 300-degree oven where we will bake anywhere from an hour and a half to an hour 45. All right, it is time to move on to making our lime glaze. Here we have our powdered sugar. We have added a splash of vanilla extract. Here we have the juice of 2 limes, and I've started by adding just a little. I don't want to add too much liquid in the beginning in case it gets too loose. If that does happen, you can go back and add a little more powdered sugar to the mixture, but I'm just trying to avoid that altogether. So here I have the powdered sugar, the vanilla extract, and the juice of the limes, and I'm just mixing in a little at a time, stirring it, seeing if I need more liquid, and if I do, then I will go through and I'll add more of the lime juice. Here I have added all of the lime juice to the sugar, and I still don't have the consistency that I want. It's still a little too thick. So instead of juicing another lime and adding the juice, I've decided to add a little half and half to the mixture. So I've gone in and I've added just about a tablespoon of the half and half to the mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and mix and see what the consistency looks like at this point. If I reach my desired consistency, I am good. If not, I'll need to go in and add a little more half and half. I opted for half and half versus more lime juice to help combat some of the tartness of the lime. So this is adding a little creaminess to it. Now that the glaze is at my desired consistency, I'm just mixing it just a little bit more to make sure it's nice and smooth. We are going to set this aside and move on to decorating our cake. So here is the cake as soon as I've taken it out of the oven. It did bake for a total of 1 hour and 40 minutes. It smells so good. So we're going to let it sit in the pan for 10 to 15 minutes to cool off just a bit before we turn it onto our cake board. So here is the cake. Once we've removed it from the pan, it released with no issues at all. So we're going to let the cake sit out for about an hour to cool off before we move on to decorating. So we will be back shortly. So we are going to start by piping the cream cheese icing on top of the cake. I did not record myself making the cream cheese icing for the sake of time. I have made it in previous videos, and I will leave the recipe down below in the description box. It's easy to follow. It's simply an 8-ounce package of cream cheese, 1/2 stick of unsalted butter, 16 ounces of powdered sugar. In this case, I used a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a teaspoon of coconut extract. Here I am just going through and piping shells at the base of the cake. Here we have the lime glaze that we made earlier, and I'm just going through and I am pouring it on top of the cake, on top of the cream cheese icing that I have just piped on top. It will drizzle down the sides of the cake, so I am here going through and pouring all of the glaze that we made earlier on top. Here we have the coconut bar cookies. These cookies are pretty long, so I went through and I cut them in half. So I'm going through and I am placing the cookies in between the areas where I pipe the icing onto the cake. I am leaving a space in between because that is where I will place the lime wedges, but you will see that coming up shortly. So here we have the lime wedges, and I'm just going to go through, place them on top of the cake between the areas where I place the coconut cookies. Here we have coconut flakes that I have run through the food processor to break them down into smaller pieces. And I'm just gonna go through and sprinkle some on top of the cake. In this bowl, I have probably about 1/4 cup. Here I have crumbled some of the coconut cookies, and I'm just going through and sprinkling them on the base of the cake where I piped the shells. Here I am just going through and sprinkling some lime zest on top of the cake. All right, y'all, we have made it to the end of this video. Here we have our coconut lime cream cheese pound cake. Guys, if you like coconut and lime, I would highly recommend you give this recipe a try. I got rave reviews from everyone who tried it, and it really is super good, super moist, nice and flavorful. I would like to thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. While you're here, I hope you take a moment, look down below, press that red subscribe button, join our family, and come back for some more recipes. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.